Hello everybody, my name is Chris and this will be a brand new movie review. This one is for John Wick 4. So I just got done watching John Wick 4, and with this fourth installment in the John Wick franchise, we follow Mr. Wick on a journey to earn his freedom. And on this journey, John Wick will encounter several dozens and maybe even hundreds of assassins trying to take him down, even getting the attention of the High Table, the people who controls the Assassin Society. John Wick 4, man. I still remember when the first John Wick movie was about to come out, and they released the trailer like a month before the movie hit theater, and everybody was laughing at it, and then they saw the movie and whoa, this is pretty dang good. And the rest is kind of a history, right? John Wick 4 came out and blew us all away. They expanded this assassin universe, give us great choreographed fight scenes, and 3 up the ante even more. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know what I was expecting with John Wick 4. I thought they already pushed the limit of what they could do with these John Wick movies. And you're not ready for John Wick 4, I must say. This is the ultimate action movie, and not even exaggerating a little bit. When I tell you John Wick 4 is like 17 to 16% all action scenes, you can take my word for it. It really went. I just had to top my head to the stunt performance in this movie, because I think every single stunt performer I've ever in Hollywood showed out in this movie. I honestly think you can take the body count of John Wick had in 1, 2, and 3 and add them all together, and John Wick 4 will still beat it. Director Charles Stahelski and the writing team here just continue to know how to expand every corner of this assassin universe that John Wick has created, and keeping it fresh and still a little grounded. I think that's one of the biggest things that helps separate the John Wick universe from your just typical action movie. Sure, they have choreographed some fantastic fight scenes, but I think a lot of us find intriguing this assassin universe, and with this 4 film they really explore the world, and we're going all over the place here. The role of John Wick just perfectly suits Keanu Reeves, and it plays into his strengths, and he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in this movie. I'll be curious to see how many words he actually speak in this movie because I won't be surprised if it's like under 100. But part 4 had the additional of some new characters in here that I just could not get enough of him. And starting off with Donnie Yen, he plays a character by the name of King, who is a blind assassin that possibly also has a history with John Wick, and that's also something I just love about this movie. They continues to hint to you this past life John Wick had before, and we forget that the first movie John Wick is basically entering retirement, and he had a couple of decades behind his belt as an assassin, and it feels like every sequel where they hint to more backstory about John Wick and what his life was before, it really paints a picture that makes you go, they're definitely gonna make a prequel someday. It won't be with Keanu Reeves, wherever the studios decides to do that. He's gonna make a John Wick prequel, and they're gonna take all these story elements and turn it into a film. But back to Donnie Yen, a masterful artist in martial arts choreograph in Hollywood right now, and what he's able to do with this blind assassin, which is right out of the gate, I was like, this is the guy they're going to hire to try and kill John Wick, a blind man? Oh, that's a big strain of John Wick 4, because it really surprised me. And I like John Wick 3. I thought it has some pretty cool action set pieces, great choreograph as always, but you feel like the action grew stale there towards the end of the movie. I was like kind of exhausted. The fight scenes, it felt really repetitive. There was too many repetitive action towards the end of John Wick 3. John Wick 4 is a 3 hour long movie and it has a bit of a slow start, but once you get to the first action sequences, and then the time just flew by me, and I did not feel the 3 hour runtime of this film. A lot of that is because of the refreshing things they do here, where, like I say, a blind assassin, Donnie Yen, and the story behind his action. That was a lot of fun to see. Bill Skarsgård, also a neat surprise in here. I think his character gets like some of the best dialogue of the film, just hearing every sentence coming out of his mouth, and like that's really poetic. You know, he works as some of the main villain of this film, and although I would have liked more of him, what Bill Skarsgård gets to do from beginning to end of the movie, I love it. We also have another assassin in here, played by Shamir Anderson, who goes by Mr. Nobody or Tracker. He felt like the most wild card of the group, but again, to keep things refreshing and unique, they give him an interesting trail, and he goes everywhere with his little German Shepherd dog, and that dog is a menace. The action scenes they were able to pull off were here with this assassin going after Wick and all these other people at the same time, and having a dog also fight this assassin. It sounds ridiculous, but it looks so cool on screen, and those are like the standouts, lovable new people in the John Wick 4 that you come to enjoy with this franchise. And not even talking about some of the boss fights in here, because John Wick 4 had like a little video game quality to it, where the stages in here, like John Wick has to go to a series of missions to get to the very end of the movie, and each mission has his own little boss. Some people might recognize the name Scott Adkins. He's also a martial artist in Hollywood, and he's covered like in fat prosthetic and playing this big fella fighting John Wick, and he was kind of a fun little villain to see him fight. But aside from the different character of bosses in here, also Lance Reddick, fantastic here, and it's sad that he's passed away. He plays such a great and important character in the John Wick universe, and it was always a delight whenever he pops on screen in whatever project he was doing, from The Wire, French, also his voiceover work on Destiny and Horizon. He was one of these actors that always bring his A game, and he has this very distinct voice and personality, and bringing some interesting take to his craft. And he will be sure he will be missed, and he was just great to see him in one of his final performance. John Wick 4 also does some interesting things in terms of the set pieces. Okay, you have these unique action scenes where sometimes it's just your typical gun shooting and fighting and whatnot, but there is one sequence where you're like watching from a bird's eye view, and I compare it to another video game where you're watching from the ceiling, and as your character goes in and out through doors, and it's like a split up in two takes. So one is a really long take, and then it cuts to another long take, and take it all, and it's just mesmerizing to see. It makes you wonder how hard they did work on that film, because they definitely there's visual effects involved in John Wick 4, but it's hidden seamlessly. So much of the action going on screen and serious. Asking to myself, how did they do that safety? Because sometimes you just look at that and just look too real. But again, because every different action scene and set piece is giving a something new to play with this franchise. It feels different and something that we haven't seen before. And I didn't get bored with the amount of action that was throwing out my way as I was watching this. The time to think that what Keanu Reeves is doing in this world, this was a really long action sequence involving like 200 flight of stairs. And okay, I need you to imagine how long it took to film that entire action sequence, and spending 8 to 6 hours of the day just going up and down the stairs doing these fake fight and choreograph scenes. That is exhausting work, and Keanu Reeves isn't young anymore as he used to be, but it was amazing. But okay, bringing my excitement down and trying to pinpoint some of the things that I didn't necessarily love about the film. For one, it's a nature that I have with the third film. John Wick is just feeling invincible, and I feel like early on in the series they do a good job making John Wick, very high skilled professional assassin who get a knife stab and he gets shot, he'll get wounded, he slow down a bit, and here the man is like the freaking Terminator. But I feel like that's just a minor grip, okay? I feel they earned that right to make John Wick this sort of impenetrable or lucky guy that he gets saved last minute so many times. And to be honest with you guys, that's like my only grip with this movie. The other thing I will say is the ending of this movie might be controversial, especially for fans of this franchise. I could kind of understand, but I actually like it, and there's of course an obvious debate you can have with the ending, and I don't want to get into it here, but honestly didn't mind and the way they decided to wrap up this story. I feel it would be a good wrap up for the entire John Wick series. And the director recently mentioned that if they're going to make a fifth movie, it'll be some time. They're not going to jump into it right away, and they're going to wait a couple of years if the audience wants it. But if they decide to end it here on 4, I'll be kind of satisfied with this ending. I think it will be a good way to wrap up the series, because it feels like almost comes full circle from the way things began. So I love this film. Now, is John Wick 4 the best action movie ever made? Possibly. Now, I would say that it's definitely the best one in the franchise, yeah. And that's incredible how this movie just getting better and better and better. Not only in terms of quality, they also get bigger and bigger. And the Paris sequences here, they visit a couple of places here, but that action sequences in Paris, oh, that was amazing. You just had to watch the movie just for that sequence alone. But I highly recommend this movie. It's just a fun, explosive action movie. There's a non-stop here. It's really great. So that's my review for John Wick 4. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and thank you for watching. See you guys later. Bye bye.